Welcome back to the spiritual journey, 4th week, 3rd year. Today we will be continuing with the flat Earth theme, comparing the heliocentric Big Bang model with the geocentric creation model, and using our divinatory skills to look at some information and draw some conclusion. Now, it would be useful to watch 10 minutes of the Flat Earth, Flat Galaxy video with David Weiss from the Flat Earth podcast. And the link I will leave below the YouTube video, and it will be on the text for members of the Academy on the Thinkific Universal Comprehension Academy site. So remember, personally, I'm not against true science, that which is demonstrable, observable, repeatable, and verifiable. But when it comes to blindly accepting science, like blindly accepting religion, I tread carefully and depend on my own personal relationship with God, the Creator, a relationship created with the Spirit when I was 9 years old. So it's something that's always stayed with me. So, unfortunately, Keith has had some domestic problems and won't be able to join us today. But I wonder if he had a look at the article I sent him with Admiral Bird. Now, I will be putting that article under a link to that article under the YouTube or in the description of the YouTube video. And again, it will be on the text for members. So from the maps of the flat Earth, I've worked out the following, but I'm not a mathematician. Yes. And the small, estimated size, 32 miles in diameter, Sun passes over the Tropic of Cancer on the 21st of June, about 60 miles high in the sky, if we are to believe that there is a dome over us. Yes, so small sun with a dome. Yes, if we are to believe the Bible, which we talked about in one of the previous videos. Yes, Genesis chapter 1. So when it's going over the Tropic of Cancer, about 60 miles high, it's over Miami, South Carolina, and Mexico. And here in Europe, we feel the warmth, and in northern America, we feel plenty of warmth. And the sun rays extend all the way to the Arctic Circle, where that's where the influence, the heat of the sun really stops beyond that point, the Arctic Circle. Yes. Now, the Tropic of Cancer is a circle about 19,000 miles in circumference, from what I can gather. Now, it then coils its way to the Tropic of Capricorn via a coiling motion of about 182 turns. Yes. Now, over a period of 182 days, 6 months. And at the end of that time, it will be circling over Australia at a speed of, I've calculated, 1,291 miles an hour. And then it will slowly return to, or at top speed, it will return to the Tropic of Cancer, but getting slower as it does so. Now, the Tropic of Capricorn, as seen on the Miles map, which there's a link for, is a circle of about 31,000 miles in circumference. I'd be happy if someone could work out the exact circumference of the tropic circles from the maps and let me know how you worked out the circle circumferences. The equator is a circle of about 24,000 miles, 864 miles. Yes, 24,864 miles. So the sun has a speed of about 1,048 miles when directly over the equator circle. Now, the sun could be called our clockwork orange, full of vitamin D. The only vitamin you get from the sun is vitamin D. Well, maybe there's other things that we don't know about. Now, without vitamin D, your body would not be able to develop healthy, strong bones. Vitamin D can be consumed by taking vitamin supplements or from foods. There were 3 things you could have looked at over the week. Now, America was trying to stay out of the war. We have a link for that. This is from last week. Operation Deep Freeze was the code name for a series of scientific expeditions to the Antarctica in 1955-56, and there's a link for that. And the edge of the flat Earth, the ice wall Antarctica. So there's actually a video of the Antarctic wall or cliff, 200 feet high cliff. And there's a video for that. And all those things will be under the YouTube video in the description box. Now, hopefully you have or will have read the article and note one line amongst many in the conclusion. This. Now, what he said is when he reached the pole, he continued for 1,700 miles. To all intents and purposes, he continued on a northerly course after crossing the pole. Yeah, so he went to the pole and then continued for another 1,700 miles. And weirdly, it stands on record that he succeeded, or he would not have see that land beyond the pole, which to this day, if we are to scan the records of newspapers, books, radio, television, and word of mouth, has never been revisited. Yes, that land on today's maps cannot exist. But since it does, we can only conclude that today's maps are incorrect, incomplete, and do not represent a true picture of the Northern Hemisphere. Now, all of that is in the article. So if the globe is not a true representation of the Earth, what is? Now, further in the article, it reads, my original disclosure of then unknown land beyond the poles in 1926 to 1928 was captioned by the press as more daring than anything Jules Verne ever conceived. Yes. So now, don't forget that Jules Verne introduced to the world the outer space from 1865 from the Earth to the Moon, a direct route in 97 hours. And he was writing this in 1865. So 20 minutes, similar to the distance of the sun. So 97 hours, 20 minutes. And that's similar to the distance to the sun, which is 93 million miles as per the heliocentric model. But is this fiction made fact? Now, since the Earth moves around the Sun, the distance differs, with Earth's closest point from the Sun, perihelion, reaching 147.5 million kilometers, which is 91.3 million miles. Yes, when it comes to the Earth's farthest point from the Sun, aphelion. Yes, funny the word line in that word. It is around 152 million kilometers, or 94.5 million miles, a little over 1 year from the Sun. Interesting, we have political spin doctors advising our government: simply spin the figures. If we blend the figures of kilometers and miles, we could assume a fictional distance of 97.2 million miles. Fiction, perhaps, from Jules Verne with love. I'll leave you to discover the Verne biography link in the text notes on the School Thinkific site. But here's a taste. Now, Verne was born on February 8, 1828 in Nantes, France, a busy maritime port city. There, Verne was exposed to vessels departing and arriving, sparking his imagination for travel and adventure. While attending boarding school, he began to write short stories and poetry. Afterwards, his father, a lawyer, sent his oldest son to Paris to study law. So Jules was sun sign Aquarius, and often referred to as the father of science fiction. Yes. We've already looked at the difference between maritime law and the law of the land, common law. So it's something else to consider. Yes, we looked at that last year. The connection between legal law and science fiction. But I digress. Indeed, as spiritual detectives, we have a mountain of evidence before us. We must not get lost in the space above the mountain. Yeah, so now you may also want to read The Smokey God. Sounds like Mount Sinai. Yeah. The Smoking God, or A Journey to the Earth, is presented like the true account of a Norwegian sailor named Olaf Jansen, and explains how this navigated through an entrance to the interior of the Earth at the North Pole. Now, there's a link for that. Also, Willis George Emerson, and there's a PDF link in the text. Now, from the article about Admiral Bird, the great unknown account, and I'll leave that link as well. Next, let's look at Admiral Bird in 1954. There is a full uncut Admiral Bird interview that aired on the Logins television program on December the 8th, 1954, with improved video and audio. Flat Earth revealed. Now, there's a link for the full interview of Admiral Bird talking about Antarctica secrets, flat, globe, or hollow Earth. Yes. Now, we can comprehend from this video and statement from Admiral Bird is that there are unexplored lands both in the center of the North Pole and beyond the South Pole Antarctic Ice Wall that have never been seen by the general population of our civilization. However, it's not beyond belief to expect that both the British Crown and the governments of our world to have explored these areas and kept it hidden from us for their own purposes under the guise of for security reasons. Yes, perhaps even to stop a gold rush. That would be terrible. Yeah, people getting all the gold and the government not getting the gold. Indeed, not long after this video of 1954, in 1957, yes, the Antarctic Treaty was created to prevent the normal population exploring Antarctica and any independent research in the Antarctic. The treaty has now a membership of 53 states, well, probably more now, of which 12 are original members of the consultative parties, 29 consultative parties with voting status in Antarctic Treaty consultative meetings, and 24 non-consultative parties with observer status. Now, there's a link for the treaty as well, so that'll be in the description notes. The government had complete control of the area, which is now protected by a military base, naval ships and air force, all to protect the area and the penguin from any outside observer. There is, however, the possibility to have a guided tour at great expense of a part of the Antarctic, but it's very expensive and you're not free to explore just to follow a guide. You have to go where they tell you. So, at the same time, in 1958, NASA was created by a Nazi German rocket scientist, and there's a link for that, who left the message on a gravestone for everyone to wonder about. Psalm 19.1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, there's a link for that below. Now, what we'll do is we'll carry on with that next week, hopefully with Keith. So, bye for me. That's just a taster of what we should have done today. But Keith has his own domestic problems to deal with today, so I'm doing just a short video. Okay, so it's bye from me, and it's bye from the Universal Comprehension Academy and the Spiritual Journey. Yes, hopefully see you next week. And don't forget to like and share the video on YouTube. Okay, so bye for now.